We are back now. Game number 2 between Team Pandamonium and Alpha Sydney. Alpha Sydney taking game number 1 pretty well against Team Pandamonium. A lot of that to do with team comp and a lot of that just to do with a lot of their calls in the game and choosing when to fight. We're going to head into game number 2 very shortly. Picks and bans coming up in just a second here. Biggie, what would you like to see out of Team Pandamonium this time compared to what they did last game?
I'd like to see Richard on a bit more of an aggressive support. Something maybe looks a bit more comfortable on, or I think just in general, just a well-rounded comp. I just don't think that comp was quite polished, especially considering the picks they gave up, you know, in the Jingwei, the Kronos, etc.
Alright, so picks and bans. Alright, so we're going to go into some bans just now. Pandas against Alpha Sydney. Pandas taking the first option this time. Last time they were second pick, so looking to get something a bit stronger here first up. You know, we didn't see Terra last game. Terra was banned away. Neath has also been a very popular pick here in the OPL, the most picked alongside with Jingwei. But we see the bans coming through first. Raijin banned away by Team Pandemonium. Again, taken away from Swifty.
Yeah, looking for like Ratatoska, Terra, Raijin, something like that. Just a really solid, you know, top meta pick right now.
Raven taken away again, just taking Kiki Amio off one of his more comfortable guards. You know, the Verman last game, I feel like it did all right, but it just wasn't kind of, you know, I probably wouldn't change that pick. It did what it needed to for Kiki, but you know, in combination with everything else, it was just, you know, it didn't seem to carry Team Pandemonium. But I guess you're not really looking for a carry out of the solo lane at this stage in the meta. Yeah. Susano and Rat banned away by both of these teams.
Yeah, I think the problem with last game was, you know, they picked a Vulcan and then they kind of, their front line or their setup, their initiation didn't really, you know, comp well with the Vulcan. You know, didn't allow him to get his ults. You know, quite a few ults were just missed at the start, right at the start of team fights, which, you know, was very beneficial for Alpha Sydney.
Right, Terra, the first pick here for Team Pandemonium. So very strong healer, very strong kind of lane aggressor, you know, provides a lot in terms of CC and everything as well. Big team buff as well in her ultimate. But Freya and Jingwei picked up here for Alpha Sydney. You know, we saw the difficulty with which Team Pandemonium had locking down the Jingwei last game. You know, adding a Freya on top of that's got to make that task pretty much doubly as hard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Jingwei mid as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it a couple times. You know, Agony's played it with Legacy. I think we've seen Alpha Sydney play it as well. Nathan Athena picked up here for Team Pandemonium and the Fafnir for Alpha Sydney. So I guess that's an Athena jungle Terra support.
Yeah, well, I do know that, you know, Rose quite the big Athena fan. I think way back when he first played, obviously he was, you know, almost an Athena main, so he definitely loves, and you know, being back in the jungle, he definitely loves that Athena jungle.
Sol and Bologna banned. So Bologna again taking away, you know, this Team Pandemonium ban phase looking very similar to last game. They take the Bologna away from KO and just give Kiki a matchup that potentially is a bit more favorable to him. Kronos banned away by Alpha Sydney, so they played it last game, but not looking to play it this game. They've already got their mid and ADC selections locked in, and just don't want Ochita or anything that he can kind of carry in the late game with.
I think they know that Neath is an Ochita pick. Ochita, you know, has been playing out quite a bit. Obviously, I'm sure they've scrimmed them, you know, in previous weeks, and I'm quite confident that, you know, that they know that's going to the Neath's going to Ochita, and they're just trying to ban out the Kronos. You know, it's a strong pick right now, and Maxon's definitely a strong Kronos player.
Barkus now picked up from Alpha Sydney, something we've seen a little bit of here this split, but not nearly as much as we did the last split. Seems to really be falling off in terms of favor and its effectiveness as well. You see only a 25% win rate compared to last split where it was over 60%. Now we see the Verman and Rama pick here, so that is going to be the Neath mid lane, Ram ADC. Although we have seen the Ram mid lane before from Alpha Sydney,
but not a Bacchus. I hope that's not a Bacchus.
Oh.
Otherwise, that would be a Bacchus in the jungle. And...
Yes, you are correct. So that is actually a Wheelix, not a Bacchus.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, looking at in-game now, it is an Wheelix.
I mean, they won one game. I don't think they're quite feeling themselves that much.
Yeah, so it's an Awilix and then the Cyrus, the last pick for Alpha Sydney as we head into game now. You can see it is an Awilix, not a Bacchus jungle. I know that our own Giles is a big proponent of the Bacchus jungle, but it is not to be in this game. We actually saw a Bacchus jungle in the All-Stars match at the end of last split, but for this game, it's going to be a bit more standard, and it's going to be interesting to watch an Awilix being played against Team Pandamonium, as they're usually the ones that love these Awilix combinations with lots of knockups.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the Awilix. I mean, the only real knock-up in the kit is the Jingwei knock-up, which is probably not your standard combination. It could catch maybe someone off guard, but other than that, you're kind of relying heavily on picking the Neath off of her backflip. I'm just not sure if this was the right pick for them.
Duo lane, we can see Taurus guys already taking a lot of poke here from Richard Hustle and Maxon, and I really like this Terra and Ram pick combination, because Ram doesn't have the best lane clear in the world, but the Terra can really aid with that and can also provide a lot of sustain. But you know, it's two sides of the same coin. You either choose the sustain or you choose the lane clear. And this early in the game, you know, with the death toll on the Ram, really going to be using that monolith and the shatter on the dash of it for some wave clear, and you should be able to get it pretty effectively against a Freya and a Fafnir that between them don't have much wave clear.
Yeah, it's definitely a winning lane here for Pandas. I think, especially the Freya to the Terra, it's free poke all day with the 2 onto the Freya. The Freya can't really push up to grip the wave, and then the Fafnir can't push up to clear. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this pressure though, because I mean, going into the match, they would have definitely noticed.
Oh, in the mid lane, Row knocked up there by Swifty. Slicey looking to get the kill. Swifty picks it up with a basic attack there. First Blood, again, going towards Alpha City. Row dashing into the minions there and taking a lot of poke from archers.
A bit of a misplay, I guess. I'm sure he'll bounce back from it.
Yeah. And that's also a little bit unusual. Row, as we all know and has been talked about to no end in the OPL, has got, you know, fantastic game knowledge. You know, one of the top players in OCE, if not the top players in OCE. It's very rare we see him make a misplay of that caliber.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Row is that he'll push his limits. You know, sometimes it'll look, you know, some of the plays he make will look, you know, bad, but I mean, I guess he backs himself regardless of, you know, whether his idea is a good one or not. He still backs himself to outplay his opponent, which I guess is, you know, a bit of a trade-off when you have a player of that caliber on your team.
Solo lane now, we see Kikimiya getting a lot of pressure down onto this Osiris, which I suppose you would expect. Osiris, you know, not the best clearing solo laner, whereas Verman with a Bluestone Pendant does a little bit better of a job. Kikimiya was having a bit of a boxing match with him before, nearly managed to take down that Osiris. I guess he's just really looking to force out the ultimate, and then a World Weaver can come through from the mid lane from Ochita once he hits level 5 and potentially secure a kill in the solo lane.
Yeah, well, Osiris is strength poking, but I mean, obviously against the Vermana he can't.
Oh, Row again, looking to get picked off here. Swifty secures the kill with the airstrike. He was pulled in by the gravity surge from Slicey, who managed to get a knock-up off of that that Moonlight charge coming out. So Row, you know, 0 and 2, 3 minutes into the game. Not something we usually see out of Team Pandemonium's jungler, but what that does is it gives Slicey a lot of free reign around the map now. He's not choosing to invade the speed buff, but takes away the early camps and goes and secures his own camps.
Yeah, well, Alpha have to play around Slicey now. I mean, this is, you know, it's the big game for them. You know, it's a big stepping stone. You know, you split with Legacy, you split with Avant. Can they finally, you know, get that 2-0? And I think Slicey needs to kind of take control of the game and have his team play around him now, because, you know, he's put, you know, Alpha's star player has put, you know, Panda's star player on the back foot. You know, it'll just be interesting to see how he plays this from now.
To me, though, they didn't really look to push their advantage there. I guess, like, you know, I mentioned that they didn't take Panda's speed buff; they just went for their own one. They haven't even secured mid camps; they just got the earlies there. Like, you know, do they have an opportunity to do that, or was just too much of a risky play?
Oh, I think KO kind of over-aggressed and was getting poked out, and Slicey looked a bit worried. I think he made a rotation to the solo lane to try and secure his own buffs. Obviously, if KO gets pushed out, despite the Athena pick, the Athena can still ult in on top of the Vermana and, you know, and then counter and invade themselves. So probably the right call just to secure his own buffs and help his solo laner out. But I think right now they need to transition that into some far more aggressive play.
Alright, so Rose finished off his boots here and hasn't finished off the helmet into the Dynasty Plate Helm, I believe, is the tier 2 option of that. So he's got a lot of power, some movement speed online, but he does have some protection. He has some protection coming through from the helmet, but you know, this at this stage of the game hasn't helped him too much. But I think the movement speed is really going to be the difference here. Ochida secures a kill onto KO with the World Weaver ultimate. KO used his ultimate just a little bit too early. Ro comes in, but gets stunned out by Slicey's Wrath. Ro looking for the taunt there onto Slicey, gets it down. A lot of damage coming through. Slicey gets a stun down of his own, but the Archers will pick up the kill here, and Kikyo Mio gets a return kill onto Slicey. So now 2-2 is the scoreline. Pandemonium, you know, using their global presence.
It's exactly what they did and what happened. I mean, he used his, you know, Suku to try and jump in and block the Neath ult onto the Osiris and just missed by a half a second, and then played aggressively onto the mana, missed out. And then I'm not sure why he turned. He hog stunned the Athena and he was out, but then turned to clear minions and, you know, kind of cost his life, I guess.
Excellent wind gust there from Swifty, prevented Ochida from coming in and doing a lot of damage down onto Tori Skies, who was taking a bit of poke from Ro there. So, you know, that's something I don't think gets talked about a lot, is this this persistent gust, its zoning ability, because it's actually quite a large radius on that ability coming through from the Jingwei. Ro using his ultimate on the left-hand side. Up to the air goes Max and looking to get some snipes down. 1-2 onto Tori Skies. Draconic form comes out and saves his life. Rana Brana used his ultimate as well, but Ro is still very healthy. A lot of healing coming through from Richard, but Slicey comes through with the Gravity Surge and picks up a kill onto Team Pandemonium. And now Alpha City, 4 members in the left-hand side lane, looking to get something more here, and now choosing to back instead. But a good pick up there from Alpha Sydney, a good counter engage onto the gank coming through from Ro.
Yeah, good play by Tori and good play by Slicey, you know, good communication. He trusted that obviously Slicey was making the call that he was rotating, and Tori trusted that call. And they, you know, pick Ro again, who's now 0-3, you know, at 7 minutes.
That's not something I think I've ever said before, is Ro 0-3 at 7 minutes. It's just, you know, you mentioned this is, you know, Alpha City's opportunity to step up, show that they are a team to, you know, take seriously. Last they were very middle of the pack, just basically vying with Avant-Garde for the number 4 spot at LAN. You know, now this split, they're tied second with Avant-Garde, and you know, a couple of victories go their way. They could be looking at the first spot, but as you said, they do need to secure some 2-0 victories against these top level teams rather than just splits. Ro dashes in, taunts Slicey, takes a lot of damage there from the Spirit Arrow. Ochida picks up a kill onto Slicey.
Less right. I mean, everyone kind of predicted, you know, before the obviously infamous Swifty ban, that Alpha Sydney were gonna beat Avant and go to LAN, and so then when they didn't go and Avant did and won, you know, it left people asking a lot of questions. You know, like how good, like, is this Alpha Sydney team? Could they have put up that same sort of fight at LAN?
Gold Fury, Maxon gets a kill onto Tori Skies after City. It was the Gold Fury looking for one more, but Swifty goes ahead and uses their Airstrike ultimate to get himself out of dodge. World Weaver ultimate was also used by Ochida through and managed to hit that Fafnir, so very fortunate there for Maxon to pick up the kill. Rana Brana nearly saved the Fafnir's life with a really great banish, but at the end of the day, Pandemonium get the kill, and now they look like they're going to get the mid-tier 1 tower as well. Rana Brana's farming out on the left-hand side. Kiki Mia going aggressive on the right-hand side onto KO. Down comes the Defender of Olympus. KO jumps out with the Lord of the Afterlife, but Ro with the dash will be able to secure the kill. Gets it with that passive. And now, Team Pandemonium, they get themselves a tower, they get themselves a kill. Now they're in the lead. 2,000 experience, 700 gold. Slicey looking to come through. Doesn't get the knock up there onto Ro. Kiki Amio looking to defend his tier 1 tower on the right-hand side. But after that passage of play, as I mentioned, the lead, I should say, in the favor of Team Pandemonium.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small lead, so I think it's still anyone's game, obviously. But I'm just still a bit worried, you know, Slicey, you know, he got this lead, he got this, you know, this momentum over Ro and didn't really do anything with it. Kind of made some, you know, questionable decisions like rotations. Maybe that'll start to cost him as the game goes on.
Left-hand side, Maxon and Rana Brana having a little bit of a boxing match. Now, Maxon getting the superior wave clear at this stage of the game with a Ram. You know, neither Freya nor Ram have the best early mid clear, but Maxon with his current build, with his boots online and a light blade, gets a little bit more out than a Freya does with a hastened Fatalis. And these two players, two of the more aggressive players in our scene. Slicey falls down to Richard Castle on the right-hand side as Pandemonium push very aggressively into Alpha Sydney's jungle, and now they've doubled Alpha Sydney's score here, 6-3 in favor of Team Pandemonium. What I was saying before, though, was, you know, Maxon and Rana Brana, two of our most kind of aggressive players in the OCE scene, always willing, just like Ro, to back themselves in these situations and take the one-on-one fight. And they've got two very good gods to do it with this game.
Yeah, former teammates, and also, players that, even when I started playing Smite, in OC almost 2 years ago now, was in the scene and it's still around, so definitely.
Alright, Ro gets stunned out there by Taurus Skies, but it's going to be okay. No follow-up damage coming off that Fafnir stun. Alpha Sydney just clearing the wave, ensuring that their tier 1 tower on the right-hand side stays standing for now. Taking a look at our graphs, it's a 2,500 experience difference, 1,200 gold difference in favor of Team Pandamonium. Looking at these team comps, though, really would think that the late game, yet again, favors Alpha Sydney in this one with a Jingwei and a Freya.
Yeah, I think so, but I think if you've noticed in the last few minutes, Ro's really starting to command his team, rotations. His ults are very aggressive. He knows what he's doing. He's kind of he's still behind, but he's taking a bit more of a front foot as opposed to Slicey. And he knows what he wants, obviously going to try and push down this solo tower right now.
Let's steal away the blue buff as well. Have a Wrath available if there's any contention coming out from Alpha Sydney, but doesn't look like anyone's around here to take this one away. We're going to take that one away. KO teleported into the tower as well, but they're going to leave him to clear that one up. Kikiumiyo going to claim the blue buff, Slicey choosing not to contest him picking up that buff. They know exactly where he is thanks to that ward. KO gets some damage down. Kikiumiyo trying to get some poke down as well. A 2-level advantage for this Verman on the Osiris. And looking at the Osiris, he's got himself a higher than me in line. I get why he's thinking of that item because 2 ADCs on the side of Team Pandemonium, but Cheetah's really looking to do more ability damage with his World Weaver or his Spirit Arrow. And Ro actually picks up a kill on the left-hand side onto Rana Barana. Athena ultimate was used for that one. Gravity Surge doesn't land onto Maxim thanks to very well-timed Purification. Richard Castle's here as well, just walking through damage. Ochita has rotated in from the mid lane as well. Ro dashes in onto Tori's Guy's Spirit Arrow just off the mark there from Ochita. Tori's Guy's trying to get himself out of danger. Good taunt. The Draconic form is forced out of Alpha Sydney. Slicey rotating back to the mid lane as well. So Alpha Sydney not looking to necessarily fight here just to clear, but Swifty stays around too long. Dashes away thanks to that jump. I managed to get Ro away before he could get a taunt in, so excellent work there by Swifty. Very confident in his ability to escape away from that Athena.
Perfect ult timing by Torre as well. He waited for the 3 and he kind of outplayed Ro there. Ro could have just gone for the blind to straight up with the taunt, but he waited for the 3 and then ult immune to the taunt. Well played.
So what I was saying before with a higher than me in line on KO, I understand why he's chosen that item here, but realistically, he's not going to get much auto attack damage onto him until a little bit later in the game when Maxon starts to rotate more for these team fights rather than just farm. Speaking of Maxon taking a lot of damage here from Rana Barana, both his relics are down now for at least another 90 seconds. World Weaver comes through, lands as a Rana Barana, Rose here as well. So they could potentially get a pick onto this Freya if they manage to get around in time if the Freya sticks around. She doesn't have Valkyrie's Discretion available for another 5 seconds, but Ro choosing not to dash through here and just heads back towards the mid lane. But finally, completing my point in the harder than me in line, I would have rather seen something like a Breastplate of Valor here, probably.
The only reason I think most Osiris players go the Nemean is that you don't really need the cooldown. Osiris has got very short cooldowns already. So, that little bit of extra tankiness, and obviously, if you're going to be tethering yourself and just slowing and sticking to these hunters, the Nemean, the small benefit that it gives is probably more beneficial than the 25% cooldown on top of already your short cooldowns.
Alright, a little bit of a fight here around Alpha Sydney's red buff. Maxon rolling towards now Rana Barana, who's forced to use a Purification. Ochita deleted him there with a Spirit Arrow. Red buff, though, should be secured by Alpha Sydney. No, oh, yeah, they did secure it. I thought Ochita might have got it there with a broken weave. And now, Team Pandemonium turn their sights to the Gold Fury, building up a very nice lead here. 3,000 experience, 2,000 gold, about to be inflated a little bit more here. Kikimi are doing an excellent job of zoning away Tori's Guys. A 6-level disparity there between the solo laner and the support. Gold Fury already at 50% HP, should be able to get this one very quickly and very easily.
Yeah, easy Gold Fury there. I'm interested to see where Pandas go from here. Obviously, they're right on the front foot now. Alpha kind of need to stall. The only problem is they need picks, but they can't get picks with this Awilix. I mean, this Neath is just getting too easily protected by the Terra, by the Vamana, by the Athena. so it's gonna be hard for them to try and get, you know, some sort of level footing in this game.
And why they're not necessarily looking to the Terra, you know, she can't actually be knocked up when her standing stones are down thanks to her passive. So, you know, a target that's a little bit easier to gank than others in the early game becomes basically unavailable to the Zoelix and really limits her targets down to 4 people. And it's hard to pick off Arama within Wheelix because you send out that Moonlight Charge, he can roll away. The Neath is really what you're looking for, as you mentioned, with the backflip. But, you know, more often than not, Slicey's been looking to, you know, try and generate the Gravity Surge himself with the Moonlight Charge into the Gravity Surge rather than just waiting for the Neath backflip. Or, you know, if the backflip comes, it's off the back of a Purification and a cheater can't get pulled in.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Right-hand side, KO gets hit by the World Weaver, jumps early there. Gravity Surge, though, used by Slicey. Kikyomiyo up into the Colossal Fury. Row channeling that ultimate. Swifty takes the damage there. Ranabran is here as well, looking for Kikyomiyo, and now Row forced to run away along with Kikyomiyo. Kikyomiyo falls down there to Swifty. Row in between 2 towers here, runs away into the jungle. KO teleports back in. Great wall there from Richard Castle. Walled off everyone on Alpha City, and now Row gets away, and Team Pandemonium are going to get the left-hand side tier 1. They might even get this tier 1 tower, so the tier 2 tower in the middle. They do get it, but now Alpha City's here. They're looking for a fight. They want to get some retribution for those 2 towers. Row and Richard Castle will get stunned out here in a second from the tether. 2-man stun from KO, but now Alpha City's rotating to the left side, where Max is taking the tier 2 tower here. So that's 3 towers down for Alpha City for just 1 kill.
I mean, that's just good mic play. And you know, if there's a fight going on, a cheater's almost certainly not going to be there. He's going to be pushing his wave and pushing your tower. So it's well played by both the mid laner and the ADC there.
A fantastic play from Richard Castle, walling off everyone in Alpha Sydney. Swifty gets the kill onto a cheater, but should fall down here in just a second, you would imagine. Rose right there on him and does get the kill. Draconic Form popped by Tory Skies. Richard Castle very low as well. The Dragon jumps on and gobbles up that Terra. Good stun coming out now. Row very low. Tory Skies doing so much damage to him with his basic attacks. Max are now boxing the Fafnir in the middle of a wave, and it's going to come off better in that trade. So we see 2 members of Pandemonium, 3 members overall fall for Team Pandemonium, 2 members of Alpha Sydney fall down as well. But the real big story in that is no towers left in the mid lane, no towers left on the left-hand side, and the lead has jumped out to 7,500 experience, 7,000 gold for the Pandas.
They took 3 towers. I think Pandas didn't really want to fight that. They just wanted to disengage. So best case scenario, they traded out there 2 for 2 after that initial pick of Kiki in the Solly lane.
Alrighty, so 17.5 minutes in, Team Pandemonium with a significant lead this game. Ultimate being channeled by Row onto Kikyomiyo. They're going to steal away the speed buff here, unless Slice can get there in time. He can't. Pandas grab themselves another speed buff.
Yeah, I mean, Row's just dictating the game now. I think it'll be interesting whether they either decide to siege here. They've got a really good sieging comp, so I think that's a bit more beneficial for them right now with their comp compared to, you know, forcing a fire giant.
Alrighty, blue buffed up by Alpha Sydney. KO though might pay for it here with his live. Richard Castle dashes through, walls in Swifty as well. Colossal Fury used. World Weaver comes through and lands onto Slicey. Actually, Snipes coming through from Max, and KO though manages to stay alive. Slicey taken low here, but uses the Feather Step to keep himself alive. Row though still claims his scalp, and now Team Pandemonium can look to push this tower here. Tory's guys trying to bait for as long as possible, gets a stun onto Row, but Row still manages to stay alive and is going to back Team Pandemonium, looking to pressure this right-hand side. Swifty knocks himself up and jumps away. Minion wave here with a Neath and a Ram. You'd imagine that this tower's pretty free. You don't need to imagine it because the tower is down.
Yeah, they should go for Phoenix here, and it's pretty much guaranteed with the double hunter.
I mean, you do have the Freya and the Jingwei still to deal damage to wave. Wall used by Richard Castle to kind of zone them away. That's a Thorns on Kikyomiyo actually, but he's still taking a lot of damage for his trouble. It's under 25% HP. The Freya ultimate comes out, but Kikyomiyo with the help of the sprint gets out. Ochita picks up the kill onto KO. Right-hand side Phoenix very low, and it does fall down with one more basic attack from Ochita. Now, Alpha City looking to get a re-engage of this. Stuns out Road as Tory Sky. Swifty jumps in, looking for the kill. There's the explosive bolts used. Rana very low as well, but Row extremely low. Slicey jumps in and looking for the kill, but Row dumps away. Ochita picks up the kill onto Slicey, and Tory Skies falls down as well. Team Pandemonium get themselves a nice couple of kills along with that Phoenix.
This could be 3, almost the game. This could be 3 Phoenixes at least. It seemed like Pandas were in, 2 minds, whether they wanted to disengage or whether they wanted to fight. I mean, obviously, Row kind of got away with some aggressive positioning for a bit too long there and managed to survive. And obviously with the Athena ult, just
can just come straight back in. Middle Phoenix falls, left-hand side Phoenix is the target now, and it's already dead as well. KO gets stunned out, or gets rooted in place, I should say, by the Spirit Arrow. There's the Terra ultimate as well. KO should fall down here in a second. Knocked up by Kikiomeo, killed by Kikiomeo as well. Minions coming in on the middle and the right-hand side as well. Those will be fire minions very shortly. You can imagine now that this is where Pandas go for the Fire Giant and then look to end the game.
Yeah, it's just too much of a deficit. 12k gold. The XP's gap is massive in every
Cheetah has 3,000 gold in hand, about to have about 4,000, or not 4,000, probably about 3,500 after this Gold Fury falls down. 3,600, that was close. I can do maths, I swear. So 3,600 gold now to go back and spend. Let's see what he gets. He gets himself a chin size, and what's the last item going to be? Titan's Bane? Yes, it's going to be a Titan's Bane for even more structure damage here. Fire Giant's still up and available. Alpha City pushing their waves as much as possible just to, give themselves as much breathing room as they can, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Well, you say you can do mass, Yuzi, but can you get a girl's in-game name?
All right, Biggie. All right, let's not bring that up on stream.
All right.
You DM'd me, by the way, so I do have it now.
All right, relax.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, I think this should be.
Let's see what happens in Discord stays in Discord. All right. Alrighty. Well, looking at the graphs now for a change, 11,400 experience, 13,000 gold, all in favor of Team Pandamonium. At this point in the game, we've said Alpha Sydney's got a late game team comp, but if they might have left it late in this one.
Yeah, it's definitely too late. Their best bet is they can't even contest this fire. It should the double hunter combo. I'm surprised they haven't started already, but they know they're going to lose this Fire Giant. They just, it's kind of that Hail Mary play. 3 Phoenixes down. Just come up with the best plan you can to win the next. Somehow just get some picks and maybe win the next fight. And then, even then they have to defend their base and maybe win another fight on top of that to even be close to winning the game.
All right, Fire Giant falls down now. Team Pandemonium with the Fire Giant with 3 Phoenixes down on the side of Alpha Sydney as well. Very difficult for them to fight into this one. Almost impossible, you might say, as well. But they're looking to do the best they can. Right-hand side lane has been pushed up by Kiki. Left-hand side lane has been pushed up by the Fire Minions. Taurus guys are there trying to clear, but, as a Fafnir at level 14, not going to do too much to Fire Minions. Team Pandemonium leaving the left-hand side to fend for itself as Swifty gets the Spirit Arrow as he's up in the air. Rowe goes in, gets the kill in just a second. No, Richard Castle claims that one. Snipes comes through from Maxon and forces Rana Barana back to the fountain. Kikiomeo, colossal fury, colossal damage. Tory Skies falls down to the Verman. KO taken very low here. Cheetah gets himself another kill. Fire Giants in the base. Only Rana Barana left alive. This should be game here unless Team Pandemonium all rush into the fountain trying to get a kill. Looks like they're going to be a little bit smarter than that. Are they? Still trying to get the kill, but still letting the minions do the damage. Rana Barana gets some damage off with the Valkyrie's discretion. Max are trying to get the kill before the game ends, but it is not to be. Team Pandemonium take game number 2 here, and we have a split between these two teams.
I mean, another split for Alpha. They're not quite pushing that 2-0, but they're definitely proving themselves. They can take games off of all these top teams. So who is, where do they really stand? I guess at the moment, the question.
We'll have to see. There's still half the split left, so we still got a little bit of time to go. We're going to talk first. We're going to actually do something a little bit different this week, and we're going to try and keep this going. We're going to talk with members of both teams and really get their perspective on games. And, I'm sure we've got some questions for Alpha Sydney, but first we're going to be joined here now by the captain and jungler of Team Pandemonium, Ro. So, Ro, let's talk about that first game a little bit. It seemed like you had a little bit of control of the game at the middle stages of it, but towards the end it really got away from you.
Yeah, actually we had control throughout pretty much the whole entire time until I just got two-shot by Rana Barana or Gold Fury. And they stole it and got Fire Giant, and it's pretty downhill from there. If you press F6 while you're in spectator, I don't know what the graph's called, but they got pretty much everything after that point.
The second game was a little bit more positive, a little bit of a odd team comp coming out, the Rama, the Neath, and then the Athena jungle as well. You really made it work though as well, obviously with the victory, but you seemed to be a lot more in control of the game despite you being 0-3 at 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, an Athena jungle being behind really isn't an issue. I'm still largely utility god, so it's not an issue. It put a cheater a fair bit behind, or rather Swifty ahead, so that was a little scary at times, but at the same time, we're just experimenting with new comps. I liked that one. We'll see if we play more of it, but I don't know, just got to die less in the early game.
Biggie, any questions for our guest?
Not really. I'm just really hoping that this next interview is with Swifty.
It is, in fact. All right. Alrighty. Well, we're going to let you go there, Ro. Thank you very much for that. So see you later. And now we are going to be joined by the infamous mid laner from Alpha Sydney, Swifty. So Swifty, game number 1, in a very strong team composition, managed to take it to Team Pandamonium. Game number 2, though, it seemed to fall a little bit apart there. You know, what do you think it's going to take for you guys to finally secure a 2-0 against one of these top teams?
Well, it's probably going to take KO to not feed, but in all seriousness, we're pretty inconsistent. It seems from results. We're usually splitting, but splitting isn't really going to get us anywhere since it doesn't give us many points. Since it gives you 3 points, but the split only gives you 1. So it's gonna be. I feel like the problem is not being able to play for an extended period, which is a challenge for us. But just playing for longer will just give us practice and just hopefully will make us be able to, 2-0 one of the top teams, such as like Avant, Legacy, or Pandas.
All right, Biggie, time for your questions now.
Well, first of all, how's your sister going? No, alright. My question is, obviously, like last split, your infamous ban, and then narrowly missing out on LAN. Obviously, everyone thought was thinking you should have made LAN, but still, you're kind of that maybe fifth team. Now you're looking like you can really hang like with these top teams. Maybe in a best of 3, the results would be different. You'd be getting some wins. What was the transition from last split to this split? Is it attitude, or is it that KO coming in maybe a bit stronger of an individual player, or what do you put it down to?
Well, having Shrix help us because he's moved to coach for us now. So having Shrix move to coach has really helped us because we actually have started going over replays and such. We've started watching most OPL games as a team together. We're really like putting in the hours to actually improve as a team, and we've put in a lot of dedication. And not making LAN last split has really like sparked a fire in us, and it's pretty much like we just started to improve a lot more than we have last split. So I think we're really excited for LAN this split, and hopefully we can prove ourselves and maybe even make worlds.
That's the dream of all teams. Big, have you got any more questions for our guest?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right. Get this opportunity to Row, which I feel bad for, but Swifty, before you go, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout outs to Alpha Sydney. I follow us on Twitter at Alpha Sydney or Alpha_Sydney or something. I don't know. And also shout outs to Dos. He's a great owner.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, Swifty, for joining us. Going to do it for our first set of the night. Next up, we have got Avantgarde up against Corvidae. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back with our second set of the night. Don't go anywhere.